Dear Lord, thank you for the beautiful day that you have given us and the opportunity to gather here this morning to work for the benefit of all of those in our community on behalf of the St. Petersburg College, that for the students and the faculty, that each of them may grow each and every day in their academic and personal selves. Please reach out your blessings on those in Turkey, for the survivors and the families of those who have perished, and for all of the other conflicts here locally and abroad. We bless this meeting, and we hope that you guide us for each of our decisions today. In your name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will be starting out with our recognitions today. First up, our retirement resolution for Deborah Eldridge.
Deborah, you would come up. Where's the rest of your SPC community? What's going on? Yes, thank you. Come on up. It's an honor to read this resolution. Whereas Deborah Eldridge began her career at St. Petersburg College as an adjunct instructor in paralegal studies program in 2006 and joined the college full-time as an instructor in what was then the College of Business and Technology in 2007. And whereas Ms. Eldridge was a part of the team which created the Sustainability Management Program, and her interest in sustainability caused her to research and write in this area, presenting at several conferences and publishing in peer-reviewed journals on the topic. Whereas Ms. Eldridge transferred to the Paralegal Studies program in 2010, where she taught a wide range of practical legal courses, making use of the expertise acquired in her former career as a litigator, and supervised the program's internal job seeking and placement program. She developed the paralegal program's first abroad offering, taking students to Portugal. Whereas Ms. Eldridge, whose focus both in and out of the classroom has always been on helping students develop practical skills and gain confidence, she served as the co-advisor of Golden Key Honor Society, the organization recognizing academic achievement in SPC's upper division programs. She is a role model for our students, both in terms of her hard work and dedication within the college, but also within the community, and continues to serve as a guardian ad litem during her entire tenure at the college, while developing a nonprofit organization devoted to assisting children aging out of foster care. Wow. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the St. Petersburg College Board of Trustees and the total college community hereby recognize and appreciate the outstanding contributions to the college by Deborah Eldridge, and extend to her our best wishes for enjoyment throughout the years ahead. Said resolution being adopted and approved by the Board of Trustees, St. Petersburg College, this 21st day of February 2023. Folks, I present to you Ms. Eldridge.
I'm not exactly sure what to say. Thank you. I have enjoyed my tenure at St. Petersburg College tremendously. I'm actually on the schedule to speak a little later on some different matters, but it is a wonderful institution in many respects, giving so much back to the community and our students. So thank you.
Thank you. Can you guys come on up to take a picture with us? Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Dr. Bonnie Jeffries. Why y'all way back there?
right here.
You're right here?
Right
All Whereas Dr. Bonnie Jeffries began her career as a speech and mass communications instructor at the St. Petersburg Junior College on the Clearwater campus in 1987. And whereas Dr. Jeffries became the director of forensics and coached the speech and debate team, which won second in the nation in the small entry division 2 years in a row at the National Forensics Association tournaments, as well as served as mass communication intern advisor for students assigned to various media in the Tampa Bay area. Whereas Dr. Jeffries is known to her students and colleagues as an outstanding teacher, dedicated to the institution, and generous contributor of her time, expertise, wit, and work ethics and wisdom. Her faculty champion for communication, her dedication was further recognized when she was named the SPC Faculty Champion for Communication in 2009-2010, Master Teacher in the Humanities Department, Teacher of the Year from the Florida Communication Association, Who's Who in Education twice, Alumni Citation for Academic Excellence 2000 from her undergraduate alma mater, Defiance College, and Distinguished Alumni for the University of South Florida. Wow. Whereas Dr. Jeffries is active in the community surrounding Clearwater campus, having served as 3-time past president of the Clearwater Alumni Panhellenic and president 2019 to 2023 of the 75-year alumni chapter of Alpha Xi Delta, and past president of Gamma, the third oldest Florida chapter of the Delta Kappa Gamma Society International. And whereas Dr. Jeffries is known as the Faculty Office Assignment Coordinator for her communication colleagues at the Clearwater campus, and is loved by her students and sought after for her masterful storytelling, extensive institutional knowledge, and contagious smile, we are grateful for her many contributions to the college, the campus, the students, and our lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the St. Petersburg College Board of Trustees and the total college community hereby recognize and appreciate the outstanding contributions to the college by Dr. Bonnie Jeffries, and extends to her our best wishes for enjoyment throughout the years ahead. Said resolution being adopted and approved by the Board of Trustees, St. Petersburg College, this 21st day of February 2023. Dr. Jeffries, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I've had quite a send-off. I think when you're a mid-year retiree, people aren't doing it very often, so they put their whole heart into this. And I've really appreciated the recent celebrations, and of course, I've had a very good ride, very good time here. Thank you.
Okay, some of you have to swing on this side. Thank you, Kristen. Yeah, so you go up.
I'll go up.
I'll stay back. I'm short. You go up. This side. Yeah, there you go. Flank. Is that better? I think.
Get chairs, maybe? Chairs.
Alrighty, on 3, everybody. 1, 2.
Perfect. All right. Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Christian, good to see you all. Hey. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have our SPC spotlights.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Please bear with me because we have a lot to celebrate, and I'm just not going to skip over it. So sorry for the long information that I'm sharing. Did you know that St. Petersburg College ranked among the best online programs in 2023 by U.S. News World Report? We ranked high in the Tampa Bay region on best online bachelor's, best Best Bachelor's Programs for Veterans, and Best Online Bachelor's in Business Programs. Thank you to the faculty for their work there. Also, SPC was selected, I believe, Matthew, how many colleges applied for unlocking the opportunities?
We were invited to apply and were accepted among more than 100.
More than 100 colleges over the nation applied. We were invited to apply. They chose 10 colleges for us to be a part of the Aspen Institute in partnership with the College Research Center for Teaching with Columbia University, and we were named one of those colleges to work on post-completion outcomes, and this is exactly where we want to go. So we're very proud of that. Last week, we celebrated with Richard Warshoff, who's a member of our foundation board, who donated a nice gift in support of the SPC Titan Fund. We named the Family Conference Center room the Richard Warshoff Family Conference Center room, and we had a wonderful celebration last week. Also, SPC was named a Leader College of Distinction by Achieving the Dream. And Achieving the Dream is a national organization that's dedicated to advancing community colleges as hubs of equity and mobility in their communities. And we were named as a College of Distinction. We have several employees who received the NISOD Excellence Award. NISOD stands for National Institute for Staff and Organization Development. It started establishing these awards in 1991, and it recognizes individuals who are doing extraordinary things on campus. Jonathan Barnes, Eva Christensen, Christopher Harvey, Misty Kemp, Sunita Kumari, Janine Lyman, Sharon Olson, and Carly Taft were recognized. Congratulations to you for your hard work and being shared on today. Thank you for that. 2 of our faculty received Fulbright Awards. Shelby Rosengarten, one of our composition and literature professors from Seminole, was accepted into the Fulbright Specialist roster for 2023. This is Fulbright is a program that aspires to improve understanding across cultures. It takes part in short-term projects, and she is extremely excited to have the opportunity to work with like-minded people who believe that education changes minds and lives. She has not received her assignment yet, so that is forthcoming. Dr. Lai Lee Tunsaran, did I say that wrong? Has been selected as a Fulbright Scholar for the fall semester of 2023. She will be posted in Hungary. This is amazing, which has an English, American, German Studies Institute with a strong focus on teacher training. Besides teaching a variety of language and literature courses, Lily will work with the faculty on pedagogy and work in the Doctoral School of Education. So we're very proud of Lily. That's pretty cool. And then we had a dean named Distinguished Administrator. Congratulations to SPC's Dean of Social and Behavioral Sciences, Dr. Joseph Smiley. He was recently named a Phi Theta Kappa Distinguished College Administrator, which is great. And members of SPC Ada Nu Chapter Phi Theta Kappa nominated him for the award, which honors administrators who are exceptionally supportive of student success. And this is a national honor, so it's a big deal. And I think that's it. We've done a lot of good work. Congratulations, SPC.
That's all.
That's all.
I will not rehash all of that, but the amount of accolades kind of rolling in is very impressive, both on the personal level, faculty level, student level, and college level. So thank you for that report. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of good stuff going on here. So once again, I remain the biggest cheerleader. I don't have a ton of comments. I would like to recognize our own trustee Stonecipher for his, and correct me if I'm wrong, 7th place overall finish in the Titans round.
That is correct.
That is? All right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I wasn't going to mention that during my comment.
Well, 7th is great. I guess you don't think so, but we do, so.
I'll do better next year.
Oh, wow.
Well, I think we need to thank the faculty because the faculty, they handle the Titan Trot, and they give scholarships every year to students, and it shows that our faculty are super dedicated, not only to the college, but also to the students, and making sure that we open doors and remove barriers, and so hands off to our faculty.
A lot of behind-the-scenes work by everybody, and trust me, I try to see it all, but I don't see it all, and it is very appreciated. Any other comments from board members? We're up in your neck of the woods, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming up here.
I have a few comments,
All
Mr.
right.
Chair. Some have already been discussed. I want to remind everyone that March 28th is the Donors and Scholars Luncheon at the Hilton at Carillon, which we do every year with the foundation. Fantastic event. I'm really looking forward to it, as I always do. And I just wanted to touch again on the conference room being named after Richard Warshoff. He's done so much in such a short amount of time for this institution through his work on the foundation, and he's helping to lead up our 100-year capital campaign and has done a fantastic job. And we were so excited to honor him last week. Was that last week? Yeah. I lose track of time. Honor him last week, and we're so thankful for the work that he puts in. And while we're talking about the foundation, Steve Shepard, who's sitting in the back, is almost always at these board meetings, and he's been such a great supporter through his role on the foundation. And it's so exciting to see the foundation be such a large part of this institution, and I'm excited about the future and where we're all kind of moving together right now. So thank you, Steve, for being here. Let's see, what else do I have? Titan Trot. I wanted to also thank the faculty for putting that together every year. It's such a great event. We had a ton of participation from a lot of you in the room who were there, which is great. And yes, next year I will do slightly better, I hope. We'll see. I did get beat by a 59-year-old, so I've got my work cut out for me. I'd rather get beat by the 18 and 16-year-olds. But more importantly, while I was there, I saw that the winners of the female category and the male category got these great Titan helmets. And so Jesse helped me out, and he was able to acquire one for me. And I was thinking this could be a great new tradition for the chair to hold on to this helmet and show his Titan support day in and day out. So Tommy, I wanted to give this to you.
That is not going to fit on his donut.
Perfect, yeah. That looks great.
A little tight.
No, it fit. It was all right. Is that so
That
back
is
at
it,
me?
Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right. Now I'm flushed and embarrassed. Any other comments before we move on to, yes?
So that job well done to Dr. Williams and the faculty on all of those accolades. Also the foundation. I've been getting a lot of phone calls from a lot of folks in the community that are talking about the good work that Jesse and the foundation folks are doing. So keep up the good work. And then finally, Nate, listen, you're number one in our hearts. So that is what you're all coming to say.
Thank you, Deborah.
Dr. Williams?
Well, I believe I've shared a lot during the SPC spotlights, and so I'll wait until the end to talk about our legislative strategy.
All right. Moving on to public comments. The meeting is now open for public comments. Members of the public that wish to speak should have provided a blue public card, comment card, and we do have one from Deborah Eldridge. It's a privilege.
Thank you to everyone. I appreciate you giving me the time to talk on this very important topic. And nothing that I say is to, it is with my sincerest thanks for St. Petersburg College and everything that St. Petersburg College does. I have loved my journey with St. Petersburg College and felt supported. But I think it's very important, but for Dean Demers and Dr. Leo Troth, I would not have received my unused sick leave, which is required pursuant to Chapter 110 of the Florida statutes. And I had to get them involved in this process. I actually retired December 30th, 2022, in order to get paid because no one was giving me answers and no one was actually paying me that sick leave. And the last note that I received from HR was that I had not met my base ECH. So I'm not going to go into all the details, but I am going to say that our HR department is and continues to be a mess. I cannot tell you any good stories about the retirement process itself from the HR perspective. And I'm not going to bore you with the details, but for Dean Demers, Dr. Leo Troth, and Dorothy Hopkins in business management, I would not have been paid my sick leave. And so it's an issue that needs to be addressed because it affects everyone. And unfortunately, this apparently has been systemic throughout the years with employees who are retiring or resigning and entitled to their sick leave not receiving it. There's additional issues with retirement benefits, but all of this needs to be looked at and needs to be addressed. And changes need to be made in the HR department so that it is run in a smooth way that benefits all employees and it ensures that their rights are being met. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comments? And I didn't open this, so I should have opened it. And now the public comment period is closed.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Trustee Gibbons.
Dr. Williams, if you would, Mr. Chair, I just want to ask Dr. Williams if you would have an audit done to make sure that every person that has either retired or gone on, that we treated them fairly in terms of their time or whatever they have accumulated so that we know that we've done that accurately.
Thank you, Trustee Gibbons. We are performing audits, and we just had a meeting about more of that, and so we're working on that through HR. Keep you posted.
Moving on to the approval of minutes. We need to approve both November and January.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, minutes pass. Do we have, General Counsel, Kanza, do we have a report this month? Nothing this month, so we're moving on to our presentations. Our first presentation is from the City of St. Pete, and I believe we have several people here to present to us on the...
Good morning. I'm Amy Foster. I'm the City Community and Neighborhood Affairs Administrator for the City of St. Petersburg, and I'm also joined this morning by James Corbett.
Hi, James Corbett. I'm the City Development Administrator for the City of St. Petersburg.
And we also have Aaron Fish with us from Real Estate. So you know this property well, but we thought before we get into your questions, which is really what we're here for, we would kind of frame the discussion a little. So this is the parcel that we're speaking of. It's on Burlington Avenue North and approximately around 71st Street and 70th Street. And then James is going to talk to us for a moment about the zoning.
So currently, the zoning is neighborhood traditional. We've actually reviewed this with our zoning team, and they would support a zoning change for neighborhood suburban multifamily, which would allow multifamily. Basically, the surrounding neighborhood is neighborhood traditional, so it's mostly single family. There is a small area of industrial to the south. There is the Pinellas Trail is right adjacent to this property, so it would support multimodal options. And essentially, the future development would be oriented towards the neighborhood and to incorporate the Pinellas Trail for access points.
There is a townhome community directly across the street from that property, and so we felt like townhomes were the multifamily approach that we would want to take with this property. So it's 5.23 acres. There are some improvements on the site. Our offer would be maxed at $4.2 million, certainly subject to the appraisal amount for the property, and we were looking at 90 days to perform inspections, appraisals, and any environmental surveys that would need to be done, and we would do that at the city's expense. So this property, if it was rezoned to NSM1, would allow up to 168 units to be allowed, but considering this is a residential area, we didn't want to go with a dense use on the property and felt like a maximum of approximately 105 townhomes was the project that we wanted to propose, and we would be looking at doing 100% affordable on this site. So an area median income for families and individuals that are making 120% or below. To give you a sense of what 120% AMI would mean, for a single person, that's about $69,000 in the city of St. Pete. Certainly for larger families, it's a little bit more. This was a negotiation point that we just threw out there. Certainly the number could be negotiated. We would reserve up to 20 townhomes for the first right of refusal for St. Petersburg College employees, and we are also looking to see if this is something that we would want to have an opportunity to offer as city employee housing as well. So this is just a little bit about the city's experience and complementary programs that we have that we would pair with purchasing of this property. We currently have an affordable lot disposition program that serves families at 120% AMI and below. We've had 30 properties sell in that program, and we have 24 that are currently awarded to developers that are building homes for home ownership for our citizens that will eventually sell to families that need affordable housing. We have 4 townhome projects in the pipeline right now. Shell Dash just broke ground recently in South St. Pete. That is a project between Shell Dash and Habitat for Humanity. It's 10 units on city property that's reserved for 80% AMI and below. There's 2 properties that we are currently working out the terms with Habitat for Humanity that would build 44 units on one and 12 units on another. Both of those are also at 80% AMI and below. And then the city is actually developing across from the Manhattan Casino what we're calling Deuces Rising, which is 24 units at 120% AMI and below. All of the properties, whether it's the affordable lot disposition program or other projects that we're working on, we like to pair with our down payment assistance, where residents who are making under 120% AMI can receive up to $60,000 in down payment assistance to assist them with that. One of the things that has made our partnership with Habitat for Humanity so successful, certainly in the current environment with construction prices rising and the current interest rates, is that Habitat is able to offer mortgages with 0% interest, which makes these projects work a little bit better. So those are some of the things that we've been up to that make us qualified to do this work on the Wellness Center site, and we are here to answer any questions that you may have.
Mr. Chair.
Trustee Cole.
Good morning. Thank you so much for you all being here and for this information. One other question that we had when we spoke about this last month was, would you seek, and similar to the other projects you mentioned, to partner with a third party as the developer, or would the city actually be the developer and owner, or that's to be determined?
We would seek to partner with a developer in this instance to build the units.
And, sorry,
Yep.
and with that being, sorry.
Yep. Trustee Gibbons, go ahead. Trustee Gibbons, I'm sorry.
I was saying when Ms. Cole is done, I had a question.
Yep, you're up.
So what would preclude us from partnering with someone and getting the same type of density and density bonuses and intermodal bonuses related to the site?
Is that a question for us? I mean, there were nothing that would preclude the college from,
The city folks.
there would be nothing that would preclude the college from entering, they would essentially become the developer. They would have to make application in conjunction with the developer for a zoning change. Obviously, we have extensive experience doing this type of work, but the college should certainly.
Well, I mean, it essentially, it sounds like you guys are just flipping the property, you're buying it from us, and then flipping the property to someone else to be kind of your development team. So would we be able to get those same terms that you talked about that the city would give Habitat or anybody else on that site?
So our intent is certainly not to flip the property. This would be city-owned housing, but we would work with another team to do that. Certainly, if St. Pete College was not interested in selling the property, you could do the same thing, and we would work with you like we would any developer to meet the needs of the goals of your project.
And just to be clear, in order.
So we wouldn't get the same terms, is what you're saying. We would have to go through a process just like everybody else, but you're just sitting here telling us that these terms you've already worked out for your development team in terms of Habitat. And number two, it can't be city-owned property if you're saying you're going to sell the townhomes. So it'll be individually owned townhomes, right?
So essentially, the process would be, if we were to acquire the property, we would do an RFP to partner with the developer and to build affordable townhomes. Part of that is there would need to be a zoning change. So we as a city would make application to change the zoning. That's something that anyone else could do as well. So I guess I'm not sure. We certainly, if the college was not interested in selling the property, they could go through the same process. They can make application. They could find a developer. They could have that developer build the units and then sell the property. Basically, what we would be doing, and just to be clear, typically when we do this, we're suppressing the price. So there is no profit to be made. In fact, that would be our contribution to the development. So the city would actually purchase the property and then turn around and give it to the developer at a suppressed price in order to make the deal make sense, because we're asking them, this is not a market value project. So we're going to be selling it. The units would be sold at less than what the market would bear traditionally.
And I guess I just want to underscore something that.
I get that part. That's what I understand that part. So the other thing is it's going to be under 120% or at 120% of median income. So we're moving essentially folks who may or may not fit that neighborhood. Will our students also get a first priority to buy, acquire, or rent, whatever you guys come up with? Because it doesn't sound like you're tied to mortgages with Habitat.
I just want to underscore that a developer has not been chosen for this project, which Mr. Corbett already stated. So as he stated, we would do an RFP and find a partner to go into this work with us. I simply used Habitat as an example of work that we've previously done that shows that we're qualified to do such work. This was our starting place for a proposal. Certainly all of the points would be negotiated as a business deal between the city of St. Pete and St. Petersburg College. So all of those things could be up for discussion. I will say, though, that home ownership is an important priority for this mayor and this administration, and we felt that home ownership was something that would be acceptable to the community, and also considered, again, the adjacent neighboring townhomes directly across the street that fit into the area.
And to answer the other question, we would be open to setting aside units for St. Pete College students as well as faculty.
Yeah, because our median student age is around 26, so they're usually a little older students. My only other question is, I think it was Ms. Fish, she keeps saying that you guys are qualified to do this. how many, you showed us 4 things, and I know that 3 of them are not out of the ground yet, and 1 of them is out of the ground. I mean, so you have extensive work beyond that one project that's out of the ground?
We've partnered on thousands of units throughout the city for affordable housing, not particularly townhome projects, but there are several projects throughout the city where we've partnered with developers for affordable housing.
But Mr. Corbett, I guess my question is, when you partner, you're giving the dirt or some type of incentive or some type of money related to the deal from CDBG or some type of federal program to assist with the program. But the city has never really done any building of any affordable housing, right?
Correct. We're currently building the townhomes on 22nd Avenue, as Ms. Foster mentioned, but it would not be our intent. Our intent is not to build these. We would partner with the developer. So it would be the same case in this instance that a developer would actually do the construction of the affordable townhomes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Very good. Trustee Cole?
I just wanted to follow up a couple things that Trustee Gibbons had said. Personally, I think this is a good opportunity for the college. As I state often, the college is not a real estate developer. I mean, our job is to educate our students and give them opportunities. One of the pillars of our vision is for economic mobility, and in my personal opinion, homeownership is a key to economic mobility and offering opportunities for people in our community to lift up. And so I applaud the city for kind of going outside the box of what usually local governments handle with affordable housing. It's very easy to have rental products and kind of a controlled rent or a controlled process. Homeownership is, from a policy standpoint, a bit more pushing the edges, but certainly if you look at it from a community standpoint, it's what I think offers the most opportunity. I would suggest, if we move forward, that we would definitely want to negotiate an opportunity for our students and staff and faculty to have a first right of opportunity. If it's a program like Habitat, obviously they have a very fixed program that I hope we already partner with them to shuttle our people through those programs. If it's not Habitat, it might have to take a bit more work to get those things together. The benefits of a project like this would be it's immediate cash to the college in disposing of the real estate. I know we talked about other offers that were more money, that were candidly more speculative for more units. Partnering with the city gives us an opportunity to keep the workforce here and local, and gives our students an opportunity, and our faculty and staff, or not necessarily our faculty, but our staff and employees, an opportunity to stay in the community. So, I mean, from that standpoint, I think whether it's with the city or whether it was somebody else coming in to do a similar project, I feel like on this property, this is the right type of project for us to work on. And the fact that we can partner with the city on it, in essence, I mean, I know not really, you're just going to buy it, but this is a nice way to move forward to meet those goals. Otherwise, I don't think, not speaking for Ms. Hunt, but I don't know that we want to get in the development business of trying to figure this all out on our own. In working with affordable housing developers, in my experience, they're not necessarily going to stroke us a check. We're going to get money kind of at the end or at stabilization or several years into a project, which may or may not work for us from a project standpoint. So those are just some comments.
Trustee Gibbons?
Mr. Chair, I wholeheartedly agree with most of what Trustee Cole said. I would like to have an opportunity to review this again before we make any decisions related to moving forward with the city of St. Pete. They're doing nothing that we can't do on our own, number one. Number two, there are plenty of affordable housing developers that are willing to willing to work with, the college and other folks. I do want to dispose of this property. I also want to make sure that the community is okay with what's going on that site. I mentioned that before. I would like for us to have an opportunity to have conversation with the neighborhood association to ensure that we are not getting a problem in that community, and they're okay with that. So I'm okay with the disposition. Eventually, I'll probably be okay even with partnering with the city, but I think there's a couple of due diligence things that we need to do, and I don't know why we're resistant in talking to the neighborhood association about that, because I just want to be sure that, yes, we are supposed to create economic mobility and some other things, but we'll also have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that we're not impacting this neighborhood in a negative manner. I'm fine with continuing the discussions. I'm just not fine with moving forward with the vote today to sell off to the city of St. Pete.
Yep, there will be no vote today, no decisions made, but thank you for your comments. Trustee Givens. Trustee
Mr. Chair,
Yep.
I understand there's a lot of variables involved with this question, but what's your anticipated timeline, assuming the due diligence period goes okay, we move forward? We're talking about an RFP from your side, looking for a development partner, and then some zoning changes that are going to need to be made. What would you say, would be the timeline for shovels in the dirt?
I would say at least a year and a half before we would actually be out of the ground. And one thing I wanted to clarify is from our perspective, it's our goal to create affordable housing opportunities. It doesn't matter whether we do it or somebody else does it. So if the college wanted to go into this endeavor on their own, we would completely support it. The city is not trying to see how many developments we can do on our own or that we can partner with. The intent is just to provide additional affordable housing opportunities, particularly home ownership. So if the college wanted to go through this process, we would totally support that. The goal would still be accomplished. The other thing is that there are multiple points where we would engage the community. So in order to do a zoning change, it requires various community input. We'd have stakeholder sessions where we would hear from the community, as well as the actual development itself. There would be an opportunity for the community to chime in and give their thoughts on the project. In fact, the reason why we felt strongly about the home ownership opportunity is it's in our experience that the community typically, when they hear affordable projects, they think, there is this not in my backyard mentality, but when it's a home ownership opportunity, it's typically received better by the adjacent community.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions or comments?
Are you looking for direction, or is the administration looking for direction for us to move forward so you can bring a formal agreement back? Is that?
No, today the board requested to have two of the organizations come and speak. One is backed out, the city remained.
Okay.
Later in the program, we'll need to do an official vote on disposal of those properties first. So we wanted the city to come because that was something you guys wanted. The other group, I think it's Third Lake, decided, is it Third Lake? Decided that they would not bid on this and that they would look at some of the other areas. So the city came.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Third Lake, but we don't know how many other people are interested in the property, so I understand that the president said Third Lake did not want to come and present, so.
Okay. Our next presentation is from Dr. Liao Troth.
Good morning, Chair Kidwell, trustees, President Williams. I'm Dr. Matthew Liao Troth, Vice President for Academic Affairs. Wanted to bring forward a report on our student successes in the fall, some student successes in the winter term, and a profile of the students who have enrolled at the college for the spring semester. For many years, we've been tracking our overall student success and also particularly looking at the success of our African American male students because we've not been as successful with them as our overall student success. If you notice in the top right-hand box, you'll see that this is kind of a 5-year trend of where we are, in that we are closing the gap for the student success gap of passing a class for all students and how we are serving our African American students. And breaking out a little bit more into detail on the bottom left of that slide, it shows that for our black men, we have specifically closed the gap. That's what that little green arrow is pointing to each other means. The gap is getting smaller. So African American men did better this fall over the fall before, and we are closing that gap overall. Again, this has been kind of an up and down during the pandemic, but this is steps forward in the right direction. We also, as just kind of a pullout, for our first time in college, Hispanic men have closed the gap because they were our next group who were not doing as well as the overall student population. So we're closing the gap between this group of students and our overall student population and how well we are serving them. The one other piece I wanted to highlight is during the pandemic, we really shifted and created a new modality for the college called Live Online. So we teach face-to-face. We've done kind of a blended of face-to-face classes and some remote. And then we've been doing online classes, kind of what used to be called distance learning, for more than 20 years. But during the pandemic, we created this hybrid approach called Live Online, which is Zoom classes. It served us really well during the pandemic, but as we've come out of the pandemic, the success of students in those live online classes compared to other modalities is not doing as well. So we are continually looking at what is the right modality to educate our students as we make sure that we're available and accessible to them, irrespective of their other time commitments, career commitments, family commitments, and when the college is open and when the college is closed. So that's a stay tuned, but just wanted to let you know that we're looking at that. Doing some deeper dives into our gateway courses, the top 15 classes we really focus on, because if a student starts well, they will finish well. So we're always looking at these, what we call the gateway entry-level classes to the college. Our math face-to-face classes did really well this fall. Over several years, we've been doing better and better with math, and we're really happy with how our entry-level math classes did in the face-to-face environment. We've also been expanding and experimenting with a modality called dynamically dated classes, which is essentially complete the class during the semester without necessarily it all being week by week by week. And so our introductory English composition class, ENC 1101, did really well in the dynamically dated structure this fall. So as we have these successes, we look on how we can expand these successes and apply them to our other classes to make overall all of our students successful. Some of the challenges we had this fall was our entry-level English class in our online and live online. Again, the live online is being troublesome as we've come out of the pandemic, and it might just be that people are zoomed out. So we're trying to figure out if they're zoomed out or if there's something that we could be doing better in how we deliver those types of classes. So again, we continue to look at that. And then the other kind of interesting way we do our education is we have our 16-week semesters. We also have half-semester classes, 8-week classes. And then we have something called Express Term, which is a 12-week term that starts 5 weeks into the 16-week term. So it's kind of the late start term. And more and more we're finding that term is not as successful. And so it's kind of a combination of maybe it's students who didn't start at the 16-week term and we kind of push them to the 12-week term, or these 12-week classes also are a little bit more live online heavy. And so we're still teasing out what the particular issue is. But we'll continue to update and change our course delivery to ensure our student success. And just wanted to give you an update of what we're looking at and where we are from the fall term. Overall, we had 2,132 students graduate fall semester. They completed 2,297 different completions. 145 students did multiple degrees or degrees and diplomas. It was almost 60% female, a little over 40% non-white student population, and then give you a breakdown of who completed an AA degree versus a bachelor's in applied sciences versus a bachelor in science versus an associate of science versus an adult technical diploma, our certificates, and post-secondary adult vocational diplomas. So it gives you kind of a breakdown of where all these different degrees are. Overall, we're about 10% down over last fall, and that's because we had fewer students. During the pandemic, we had fewer students, so we have fewer students graduating. On the plus side, our minority student, non-white students are up 15%. So we are serving those students better, and we're getting them through the whole degree or diploma program more successfully. So smaller student population, but we're being more successful what we have throughout the pandemic. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Trustee Cole.
Just because I'm clearly not processing right now, what is ATD and PSAV?
Adult Technical Diploma and Post-Secondary Adult Vocational Certificate or degree.
Okay, thank you.
So it's we have a variety of technical. They're specialized certificates. Is the best way to think about them.
Thank you.
The other measure of success is student persistence, and I'm going to start talking a lot more about student persistence, of a student staying with us semester to semester to semester. And so this is kind of our 4-year trend, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic. Through the pandemic, our persistence dropped a little bit. Fall to spring, it dropped from 77.5 down to last year we were at 75.2. We are starting to make gains and coming back to that. Breaking this out a little bit, I do want to do a big highlight. Our full-time students persist at higher than 90%, which puts us in the league of University of Florida, Harvard University, University of South Florida. Full-time students, our full-time students continue with the college and are successful. We are amazing with our full-time students. Our challenge is our part-time students are closer to 70%, and we have more part-time students than full-time students. So we continually looking at how we can help our students be successful when they have families, when they have jobs, when they have other obligations, because that part, when education is part of your life, but not the priority in your life, it's going to be harder to be successful. So we continually look at how to help those students be successful.
And these are those numbers melded together?
Yes, this is the overall, all of our students, of how they're doing. Okay. I talked about persistence of fall to spring, and then I'm jumping back to winter. And the reason I'm doing that is the winter term is technically part of spring semester. It's just a group of students who start early on their spring semester. And you'll notice that for several years, we've done really well. Our success rates in winter term have always been higher than fall. And even though the gap has gotten bigger this past winter between all students and African-American students, that gap is still smaller than it is in fall term. And as we did some deeper dives in the data, our African-American men are up 3.7% year over year on student success. That's great, but we're concerned about this gap and concerned about this decline. And so as we did some deeper dives, what we found was that we more than doubled the number of students who withdrew from classes after the winter term had started. That's a huge, huge jump. And trying to figure out why, it's that we had more than a 25% increase in students taking more than one class. Now, winter term is 4 weeks long. You're doing a class in 4 weeks. There's Christmas, some years Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's, family obligations, lots of stuff going on in those 4 weeks. Trying to do 2 classes during that 4 weeks is really hard. Now, we try and serve all our students and help our students achieve, and sometimes students feel that they need to get 2 classes done to stay on track with where they're going. And so we are accommodating to the students, but what the data really show is if you're taking more than 1 class in winter term, you're not going to be as successful as if you're taking 1 class in winter term. And so we're looking at our systems and how to support our students to help them make more informed decisions and help support them across the year to graduate on time. Winter term is continuing to grow, so we've only been doing winter term term for a couple of years, so the total number of students is higher. We ran 30 classes over a winter term, and it's overwhelmingly female to male. It's a higher proportion of female to male than the normal year, actually, to give you a sense, because it's closer to 70%, and normally we're closer to 60% for women enrollment. Okay. So some of the things we're doing to help improve our student success is we're continuing to look at the schedules. We went to common start times for our 50 most popular classes last year, and that has allowed a more than 10% increase in full-time enrollment over the year. This most recent term, we had a 7% increase in fall, but in spring we had a more than 10% on average. It's balancing over 10% increase in students being able to do a full-time schedule, which is a nice support mechanism for them. We're also continuing to look at our scheduling, and we have some data analytics that are coming online to help us better improve and predict the classes we have so that we have the right classes at the right location and the right modality for our students. We are redesigning all of our courses. Now, get every class to take some time, so we're doing small chunks at a time to really embed high-impact educational practices in all of our courses. Helps keep students engaged. Students who are engaged are more likely to be successful. We had a presentation in the fall from our learning resources team, Executive Director Matthew Bodie, on Project One Goal, which is embedding tutors into classes. So there are learning coaches for the most challenging classes for our students to get them through those most challenging classes. We've invested a lot in faculty professional development. We have more than 50 faculty who have finished the AQ certification, which is a 4-module certification on being a college teacher. It's a big deal. It's a big, like a postdoctorate certificate in being a college professor, and we're continuing to offer that and actually having all of our new faculty go through that as part of the new faculty onboarding. As I mentioned before, we're doing some deeper dives onto withdrawal data. Actually, more students withdraw than fail our classes. And so that's really where our student success challenge is students who just walk away. And students can just walk away without talking with a faculty member or the college. They can just withdraw from a class. So we're looking at how we could better mentor our students to make the right decisions, maybe not take too many to begin with, or maybe make sure that they know that there's things like incompletes as an option for a class before they withdraw from a class. We're continuing to do data reporting enhancements. Institutional research has really been helping the deans and others make better informed decisions and give feedback to help everyone support our faculty and support our students. We have some specialized programs we've been doing. First Time Titans has been an exploratory first-year experience for our students. We've been focusing on first-generation students, which is a large proportion of our student population, other student academic support, and then, of course, we partner with student affairs and student services on things like FAME and other projects that they're doing to make sure that our students are successful. So just giving you kind of an overview of that. For spring semester, we continue with having a good mix of students. We are increasing our non-white student or minority student enrollment. Our alignment of degrees is pretty similar to how they have been in prior terms. Average age continues to be at 26, so it did come down from 27 a couple of years ago. 60% women, increase in full-time students. Our budget to enrollment goals actually this morning was higher than 99%, and actually compared to a year ago where we were just shy of 90% enrollment to budget, we're in a good position on where our enrollment has played out with budget. So I credit institutional research, the budget office, a variety of people in helping make those predictions come to fruition. And we still have a second 8-week term to go for the semester. So we're pretty close to being 100% on that budget prediction. All right. Any questions at all?
I have a quick question.
Yep.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I love seeing the data and how you guys are using it to go ahead and try to make decisions, and also that you're continuing to look deeper into some of the things. Knowing that like ENC, 1101, and those types of courses are so important to student success, getting them going, are there ways, or do we have any guardrails in place that would try to push those students into face-to-face learning when we know that there is a higher chance that they may withdraw or not do well in that type of class? Is there any type of testing in or opting in to online, or can I just choose at any point if I just want to be completely online, I can choose that as a student?
Right. We strongly encourage them, if they can, to be face-to-face. And we do have some initial assessment for placement purposes. About a decade ago, the state of Florida kind of changed and put in some some decision rules for that. So we can strongly encourage students to take a pre-ENC 1101 class, but we can't require it and use state dollars for that because we're supposed to be a college, not a high school. And
I also think over the last 2 semesters, we've increased our on-campus course offerings. Maybe kind of trying to shy away a little bit from a lot more online and offering more face-to-face because that's where a large portion of student success happens. I know that I've challenged Dr. Leal Trott to really beef up the on-campus classes so that students can succeed and finish. And I think that with the common course houring, how we handle the hours, that's helping as well for students to get classes back to back. But the face-to-face classes seem to have a higher success rate, so we need to offer more sections of those courses because it's one thing to get enrollment, it's another thing to get them completed and graduated, and that's what we're here to do.
Right. Through the pandemic, pre-pandemic, we were 50% face-to-face and online. Through the pandemic, we dropped down to 15% face-to-face, and we're back over 40% face-to-face now, but we want to get above 50%. And some of our overall degree programs that we had taken fully online pre-pandemic, we were bringing back to face-to-face options as well.
Great. Thank you.
Trustee Gibbons, yes.
I don't have a question, but just for background for yourself and for Trustee Butts, some 6 or 7 years ago, Senate President Joe Negron changed how we did business in terms of making sure that in those core classes, students were no longer allowed to take remediation courses. St. Pete College was out, of course, on figuring that out before and after. And what I mean before was, before they put that law and rule in place that we could not force students to remediate, we had come up with a program, and Dr. Williams was Vice President of Student Affairs at this time, had come up with a program
The college
that
experience.
allowed for folks to do remediation up to the point where they needed it. For example, if they were weak in fractions, you could take a 4 to 6 week class just to refresh yourself on math, and then you could take the entrance exam again and either test out of some of those courses or just to help you refresh yourself in English and math and so on, and you were able to get into those courses. We saw something like an 80%, I think, Dr. Williams, and
It was a lot.
where students were passing those gateway or entry courses that were needed, like ENC 1101 and the math courses. And the legislature saw that, that they said that, well, students need to be prepared for college, not high school. And so they took that away, that arm away from us. And so here we are still trying to kind of deal with this particular issue to make sure that students are prepared. Then, if you may or may not remember, the past superintendent got a little upset with me because when we had our joint meeting, I talked about how students were not prepared for college and that we were having to remediate a lot of them. And so I guess this is a result of those 2 things.
Thank you for your comments and filling us in, because I can only speak on my going on 4 years on the board, and I know this has always been a focus of ours, and the tone and demeanor of everything seems to have gotten a lot better over time. Not that it was bad when I joined, but I know this will always be a focus of ours, but the numbers seem to be getting better. I know we had the pandemic stuff, but we all say we fought through that pretty well.
Yeah.
I know Trustee Gibbons has seen a lot longer than I have, but this has been a steadily climbing outcome. I want to commend you on that. The results speak for themselves. I know there's more work to be done.
And I credit the faculty, staff, and students for...
Faculty and staff.
Definitely.
I completely agree.
Katie first.
Trustee Cole.
Sorry, I just had a question about the online classes, and I know we have gone back and forth between the live online versus traditional online classes, which might be, self-paced. And initially, the live online appeared to be more successful for students, but now it seems as though perhaps that's not as much, or is it the same? It was just better than the regular online, and I just was curious about that distinction.
Yeah, we're teasing out whether it was a pandemic effect that face-to-face students jumped to live online versus traditional
And so they
online.
had that same level of success because they were used to face-to-face.
Right. So live online, when we initially rolled it out, was much closer to face-to-face success, and now it's closer to traditional online success.
Just two questions. I know after a student withdraws, we follow up and try to understand why that is. How often do we actually hear back from those students to get an answer? And has the reason for withdrawal changed over time, or is it pretty much the same now as it's been the past 5 or 6 years?
It's been a fairly steady response. We don't get responses from all the students, and I'd have to get back to you with what the actual number is for how many are responding.
But there's a decent response rate?
I'd have to get back to you on that. And I may ask Vice President Zemak, or I'm sorry, Executive Director Zemak, my apologies. Dr. Zemak, I may defer to Dr. Zemak for the answer on that.
We are talking, we've had a few conversations in cabinet about how do we get to these students before they withdraw. And so we have the faculty created it's a program that they get to reach out to students during the class to say, you're doing well, you need help here, et cetera. That had been a really big piece of how we can prevent students from withdrawing. And I think that we're still working on some policy things where we may be looking at students, maybe talking to faculty before they can withdraw to get to them beforehand, because I would say that after they withdraw, it's kind of hard to reach them. I don't think that the return on the phone calls, Kelly, I know your teams.
Yeah, we get several hundred responses.
So they get several hundred responses. But I think the important piece is to get them before, they withdraw.
And maybe make sure they understand all the things available for support. Right.
There are several components with that. Some of them may withdraw not really knowing where they are in the class. Some of them may withdraw for family issues, jobs, different things. But the faculty have been really trying to work with our students to make sure that they have what they need to be successful and to communicate with them. But if they don't know they're thinking of withdrawing, then there's nothing that the faculty member can do about that. So I think we need to find a way to communicate before they get to that point. And so there may be some policy things that we need to look at.
Yeah, and those reasons don't help us with that student necessarily. It'll help us with the students down the line.
Yeah.
But it'd be great to be able to
get that one beforehand, yeah.
My last question, 7.1% increase in full-time enrollment. Is that just getting us back to what was normal, or are these full-time enrollment numbers that are historically higher than we've seen the last 6 or 7 years?
So our overall enrollment is still smaller than pre-pandemic, but our proportion of students who are full-time is higher than it was before the pandemic. So
our percentage, the product of what we're doing, the economy?
All of the above.
All of it?
I'll credit Executive Director Zemak for her recruiting and our faculty and staff for retaining and helping our students persist.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Raising the bar in recruitment, Dr. Kelly Zemak.
Yes. Hi, good morning. Chair Kidwell, members of the board, and Dr. Williams.
Good morning.
Good morning. So today I will be talking about raising the bar in recruitment, so hopefully I can answer some of the questions that you guys just had. So at the beginning of the academic year, Dr. Connor laid out 4 different focus areas for student affairs. The first one being enrollment management, which I'm going to talk about today. The second one are the Titan Care Centers. The third is the Excellence in Academic Advising project that we did with NACADA and the Gardner Institute, and we're in the implementation phases of that now. And then the fourth is career development services. So that is working with our business relationship managers and our career readiness navigators on helping students with their career readiness and job placement skills. So all of that with the guidance of one student, one interaction at a time. So when we're looking at enrollment management, we had 5 goals and focus areas. The first one being the personalizing the onboarding experience. Second one is increase the high school senior applications. Third is a renewed focus on non-traditional student recruitment. Fourth, targeted outreach to our 5 low-income zip codes. And the 5th is to develop new reporting measures. And just want to point out this picture real quick. So we just started a student ambassador program in recruitment. And so our student ambassadors are in our St. Petersburg College t-shirts, and our recruiters are in the polo shirts in the back. So when we look at the personalized onboarding experience, back in 2021, we had a student affairs restructuring. And with that, we were able to get 3 enrollment specialist positions. And these positions are dedicated to helping students with the onboarding experience, helping them with their admission checklist items. We also established an appointment system for recruiters and enrollment specialists. You can see our appointments there, and this was just for 2022. So it is a popular modality of getting assistance. And then we started a Titan Live webinar series with 3 webinars every single month. The first one being YSPC, the second one, How to Become a Titan, which is all about filling out that application. And the third is Getting Ready for Advising, which is all about those admission checklist items. The other thing, our second item of focus, was our high school recruitment. So here we expanded our high school engagement to be year-round. So we go into the high schools in October with our free application drive, and we get a lot of applications from that. And then we go back in, and we're actually in the high schools right now for Net Stop SPC. So that happens between February and March. And we go back into all of the high schools, and we celebrate those students who apply to SPC. And you can see some of the pictures there. They get their admissions packet, they get some swag, we celebrate, we have pictures. And then we have our Explore SPC in April. This is both online and face-to-face. So if they come face-to-face, they get a campus tour, but in both modalities, they learn about our programs, they learn about our support services, they can work on those admission checklist items, and even register. The other thing that we do is that personal outreach from the enrollment specialists in April and May, and it actually continues beyond May until they enroll. We kind of keep on them. And so that is another thing that we added. We also added a Peach Jar flyer. So if you guys are familiar or not familiar with Peach Jar, it's basically like the student or the family or parent portal for Pinellas County Schools. So we added a flyer in there in both English and Spanish, and really highlights 5 areas that we want to focus on that month. So things that they can come to campus, join online, just to see what we're all about. So all of this, we had an increase in 8% in our high school applications compared to the prior year, and 75% of Pinellas County high school seniors completed an SPC application. One notable school is Pinellas Park High School, who had a 30% increase in their seniors completing an application with a 98% completion rate. The third area of focus was our non-traditional student recruitment. Here, we streamlined the tuition assistant process. We partnered with CareerSource Pinellas for our free money for college webinar. We started baccalaureate showcase webinars. So we do these once a semester to show how easy it is for our AAAS students to transfer into our baccalaureate programs. We also put a lot of emphasis on our College of Business in the fall because our inquiries were declining in that area. So we were able to actually increase our inquiry to application conversion up 3% for the fall. Fourth area of focus was our 5 low-income zip codes. So since May through the end of the year, we attended 63 events in these zip codes and interacted with more than 4,000 people. We sponsored community events in these zip codes, updated information at community centers. We also took a lot of our marketing material and translated it into Spanish. And then we also started creating webinars in Spanish as well. We have our ambassador cards, which were in your swag bag, but those basically are things that you can hand out in the community, and there's a QR code that directly links the individual to our recruiter. So we have one in Spanish as well that links them directly to our Spanish-speaking recruiter. So do want to take a moment to say thank you to the SPC Foundation and their investment in recruitment. Through their support, we were able to do a number of different things, and you can see that on the screen. The first one I want to highlight is transportation. We were able to bring groups of middle schools and high school students onto campuses so they can see what it is like to be an SPC student. We also trained the recruitment team on sales techniques, created the South County Recruitment Hub at the Gibbs campus, and you can see a picture of that in the center with the Titan logo. It has our Titan colors. There's laptops where they can complete an application. This is where individuals start a tour. So it's a very nice collegiate feel. We also spent a lot of time on our branding this year, and you can see the different areas that we focused on. But it was really important to make sure we all had the same logos, we all had the same colors, that we were very professional. We wanted to make sure that we were on par with our competitors, and so we were able to get that done this year. So, outcomes and measurements. These are our outcomes from 2022. Our inquiries, we were up 4.2%. Inquiry to app, we're up 2.7%. Our app to enroll conversion is 47.9%, and that's going to continue to grow because we received a lot of those high school applications in October, so those are 2022 applications. They're going to start enrolling come June, July, August, so that number will continue to grow. We also, if we're looking at our new student recruitment, fall and spring compared to last year, we're up 7% in headcount. Fall, we're up 6% in SSH and 8% in first time in college. Spring, we're up 10% in SSH and 12% first time in college. And one notable area I pulled out for fall and spring compared to last year, we're up 9% in headcount with our Hispanic FTIC students. This is just a quick little sneak peek on our 2023 goal tracking. This is something I look at every single week just to make sure we're staying on target. And some of the areas that I look at are our RFIs, so our request for information, and where we are compared to our goals, our traditional applications, and our applications from our low-income zip codes. Other things are the appointments, and then where we're going to our events. I want to make sure that we're very strategic and targeted on the events that we're going to because we do have somewhat of limited resources, and we want to make sure that we're meeting our goals. And then we also look at our app to enroll conversion. So 2023 goals, looking forward, I guess, to this year. Our fifth area of focus was really looking at our reporting measures, and we were able to do that with IR, the support from Fauzi and his team. They built us this recruitment dashboard, and you can see that on the right. I'm super excited about this. So we were able to take this dashboard and in 2023 start making those data-driven decisions. So the slide before, that's what I look at weekly, but this is really helps us trend towards our tactics and making sure that we're on the right track. So in 2023, we're going to continue to focus on our targeted populations that you see there. We're going to complete our inquiry to app and our app to enroll communication plan. Right now, everybody gets the same communication if you're in the funnel. So what we're doing is we're splitting that in between highly engaged and regular pathway because it's really two different messaging. So we're working on that. We also have two-way text messaging that we started in January with our enrollment specialists and students. So just another way to personalize the onboarding experience. We have our new recruitment video. We're in development now. This is, I think, new, fresh, upbeat, very excited. So that should be coming online soon. And then our short tutorials for our application and onboarding process. Think 1 minute or less clips that we can put in communications, we can put on the website, and really helping them through specific areas of the onboarding process. So just another way of delivering content. And then the Promise Scholarship, which is something I spoke about at the board workshop last month. So I'm going to leave it here. These are some of our student impact statements. Every time we interact with a student in enrollment management, the student gets a survey where they can rate us on their experience and tell us how we did. And so these are some of the comments that we recently received. And then I'll see if you all had any questions.
We thought that this would be important for the board to know in understanding what it takes to get a student clicking online or sitting in the seat. It's more intentional, less guesswork, more structured, and a better relationship with Pinellas County Schools. The superintendent has invited us as a board to come and visit their areas and see where we come together and where we're divided, and they're coming to us to see our areas, to look at how we can work together. And I think Dr. Zemek and team have done such a great job in building the relationship with Pinellas County Schools. I have visited some of the campuses and actually saw SPC banners and signs when we did not have that in the past. But also you can see that we're holding ourselves accountable. We have a dashboard that we look at daily and one we look at weekly or monthly to make sure we're going in the right direction. And if we need to shift to another area, if we see the interaction going down, we can make that shift and pivot to address those areas. So I'm very proud of our recruitment strategy and the changes we've made. I think that Trustee Gibbons and Stone Cipher and Cole, you were here when we first started really looking at recruitment, and we weren't able to bring that data. You hear that we're starting to text students and things of that nature. So we are not stopping and moving forward and reaching especially our non-traditional as well as our younger students. So.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing, robust system here, even in my short tenure. This has gotten a lot better and a lot nicer. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
I have a couple questions. One, just as a follow-up to Dr. Williams, I would invite, and I hope we can get on the calendar, the opportunity with a joint meeting or workshop with the school board, because I think we've talked about that a lot. I know with a recruitment standpoint, it's been important, but also with the success, Trustee Gibbons spoke about it, but also on our list is the vocational programs at Tech that I know that has been kind of a struggle and a hurdle. So I look forward to that opportunity.
We're going to visit them this semester. They're visiting us in the fall.
Okay.
And we're hosting a meeting with CareerSource to look at workforce in Pinellas and really sit down and divvy up who should be doing what.
Great.
And also talking about those programs where we may want to overlap a little bit. I've met with him, I think, now 3 times, and each time he has followed up on what he said he would do.
Great.
The superintendent has been much very collaborative and open.
Great.
So this semester, we're going to them. Next semester, fall, they're coming to us.
Great. And then just a follow-up, and no need for now, but how do our dual enrollment students and collegiate high school, I know the collegiate high school students get their AA, but I forget the name of it.
Early college.
Thank you. Early college students. How does that translate into applicants and students and enrolled?
That's a very good question. So we have spent a lot of time on dual enrollment students and making sure that they transition with us. So we obviously speak to them. We also send them communications specifically to the dual enrollment students. And you see that we also have the parent webinar series. We get a lot of dual enrollment parents on there to see how they transition. Right now we have a supplemental application process that they have to do. And last year, I want to say it was 1,800 supplemental applications that we got because we just had so many, dual enrollment students in the pipeline. But we are continually trying to make that process smoother because they still need to be onboarded.
Right.
So, and that's something that we're working on.
I would just think that, especially with the, I was just with my nephew who's in mini mesters in North Carolina at his community college, so I don't know what we specifically call it, but I would think that the dual enrollment students would be ripe to attend their junior and senior years, the short-term 4-week classes, and I don't know if we give them those opportunities, but I can envision as a parent wanting if your child already has 8 credits through dual enrollment, and then all of a sudden for a few $100s they could end up ending with their entire first year out of the way. I mean, that might be another opportunity. So.
Yeah, that's excellent. Excellent idea. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. On to the consent agenda. Do we have any discussion or questions on the consent agenda?
I would move approval of our consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Trustee Gibbons.
Second for discussion purposes.
Okay.
Are we voting, and I can't see the full agenda, so is on the consent agenda the disposition stuff?
Yes.
Yes, we're voting only whether or not the board feels that the properties that are listed are not necessary for educational purposes, but where we go from there, that's not a part of the vote. Today is just voting on disposal.
I'm sure I can see the agenda, that's all.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I see it.
All right.
Do we have a second?
I'm second already.
Oh, you did. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We have our informational reports. The board was provided the informational reports. And there are no changes to the BOT rules manual, so we are up now to the president's report.
Thank you so much, Chair Kidwell. I want to start with health insurance. I know that last semester, I brought forward a proposal, not only just for this current year that we're in, but for the following year. And there were a lot of concerns about the rising costs of health insurance, which we all know is happening everywhere. So the recommendation was that I worked alongside Trustee Butts to learn a lot more, two things, about our health insurance plan as it is, and his support has been extremely helpful. We've learned a lot more, and we're working through those things, and we'll be bringing back a formal report and a recommendation. But the second thing that I need the college to know is that the Florida college system presidents have decided to seek assistance for us as a system to be added to the state health insurance plan. And we put that in writing. We have a formal LBR. I'm leaving immediately after today's meeting to go to Tallahassee. I have 8 meetings scheduled to talk about health insurance. And the college, I've learned a lot on health insurance. And so I wanted the board to know that we are going after being included in the state health insurance plan, but we're also still working on the St. Petersburg College plan and what would be a better option for us for the next academic year for 2024, not the academic year, but the calendar year of 2024. And so I just want the college to know and the board to know that we are not sleeping on that, and we're continuing to work. And thank you so much, Trustee Butts, for opening the doors on some things that we had not looked at, and I appreciate that assistance. But I thought that was important for the college family. We had a few town halls and people asked about the insurance, so I thought it would be important for me to bring that forward. In addition to the meetings that we have in Tallahassee, of course, I'll be bringing forward the college's LBR, and this year we're partnering with retired police officers to bring mental health support to our emergency management team members, police officers. Hopefully we'll expand it out to paramedics, et cetera. We're also seeking funding for our program fund. The program fund is funding for operations. From the state standpoint, from the Florida colleges, we're seeking $150 million to be placed in the program fund for the Great 28. And SPC will be included in that. We feel that this is the right time to seek funding for state colleges and moving us forward. And so we're going to be bold this year, and we're going boldly. And as chair of the Council of President, that means me, and other presidents. So I'll be spending the next 60 days in Tallahassee. As much as I want to walk the campuses, I've got to walk the halls of Tallahassee to advocate for SPC, as well as advocate for the Florida college system. But I think the main thing is I want to make sure you guys know we're not sleeping on insurance and that we are fighting to be in the state system. And that's my report.
Our next meeting date will be March 21st at the Epicenter. This meeting is adjourned. And we're going to open the meeting back up as the governing board of the St. Petersburg Collegiate High Schools.
Good morning, Chair Kidwell, Madam President, board members. Mine too, Catherine Kennedy, one of the associate vice presidents here at the college, and I'm before you today with my responsibilities for the collegiate high school. And with very good news, I did share it with you when I presented last time in October that we got clean audits for both our Tarpon Springs and our St. Pete Gibbs campus. These are the official audits. Again, basically means that we are spending less than we are bringing in. Their official verbiage was, we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we consider to be material weaknesses.
So we need a vote to approve the audit.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Audit passes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you so
support.
much.
All right, that's the end of the meeting. Good job.
We're done.
Thank you, Trustee Gibbons. We appreciate you.